you know, you're always looking for that emotional connection to a product, right? Hey, who's to say you can't have grandma over, can she cook a recipe and, you know, record that recipe, and then, you know, for years you could pass down that recipe. Now, you know, obviously we had cookbooks, but now you have Cooksy videos that you can share so you can make sure it actually comes out exactly how she cooked it.
You see the hand, you see the technique. So there's a reminder of that person for the years to come, right? And I've recorded a bunch of my mom's recipes, and hopefully I will pass them down to my daughter when she's old enough to cook.
Welcome into the Independent Thinking Podcast. This is your host, Rob Stott. We have a relatively new vendor partner joining the Nationwide family. They'll be with us down there in Orlando in just a few weeks in August 13th to 16th for prime time. But it's a vendor partner that fits into a really interesting space, you know, for us here at Nationwide. They call themselves, you know, they're part of the luxury appliance market, but more so an accessory than anything. And it's Cooksy is the product, and it's something that, you know, it really, the way they pitch themselves is interesting, and sort of how they take in their terms, the guesswork out of cooking on a stovetop. It's something they envision, you know, their ultimate dream is to have it be a part of the kitchen that is almost akin to like a microwave, where you can't think of having a kitchen without it, you know, in the kitchen. So Cooksy itself, it's something that it's an attachment that would go under a hood, or they got stands, and you know, that you can set them up over a stovetop, and it's a really cool gadget that will allow you to monitor the temperature of the cooking surface, and also, you know, record on the pro version of Cooksy, record what is actually happening, so you can follow along step by step and you know, repeat recipes and ensure that you have, you know, exact same taste, exact same flavor, exact same cooking style, time and again, you know, with their product and with your food. So something that ultimately, you know, they hope elevates that cooking experience to a new level and lets you take, you know, your experience of cooking on these luxury appliances and you know, things that you expect to have a great experience with, but really elevating it to a whole nother level. But we have Andreas Hansen, a member of the Cooksy board, with us today to talk about the product, which only launched just a few weeks ago, really, you know, earlier this year back at KBIS, and has gotten a lot of press since then, and is something that we're very excited to add to the vendor roster here at Nationwide, and think our members will get a great deal of benefit out of. So, you know, I can only do so much explaining of it. Andreas does a much better job than I do, which is why, you know, we have him on the podcast to talk about it. But, you know, more reason to just go ahead and dive into our episode today. But let's jump into it. This is Andreas Hansen of Cooksy here on our Independent Thinking Podcast. All right, we are back on the Independent Thinking Podcast, and pretty cool opportunity. I always love talking with our vendor partners, especially new ones, because we get to learn a little bit about the brands and everything that you know, they bring to the table, their products and all that kind of good stuff. So today, that's what we've gotten, a new vendor partner in Cooksy, a brand I'm really excited to learn about. Andreas Hansen on the board there at Cooksy, you know, excited to learn about this and kind of where it fits into the luxury space. So appreciate you taking the time and you know, calling in and chatting with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Rob. Yeah, I'm very, very thankful to now be part of the Nationwide family, something that I have tried before through my various experiences in the appliance industry. I came initially from Bosch, and then Electrolux, and then I was a president for Liebherr Appliances, North and South America, where I met some of the Nationwide folks. And when I joined the board of Cooksy, I just thought that this is a perfect kind of add-on product for all the brands that are already part of the family, because it teaches people how to use the equipment, right? It teaches people how to cook it. It makes cooking less daunting. So I'm very excited to be here and chat a little bit about Cooksy today.
Well, yeah, you jumped on my next question for you, which was going to be tell us a little bit about yourself, but awesome to hear about that background, kind of where you come from, and you had the familiarity with the Nationwide team. So talk about, you know, what did you do? What was your path like to Cooksy, and you know, how did you come to know about the brand and Where did you see it fitting with the
Yeah,
nation?
no, it's a nonlinear story within the appliance industry. As you know, kind of we all know each other. There's a lot of touch points, a lot of similar distributors, certainly the same dealers that we all work with. So as I mentioned, I was the president for Liebherr. That was a big international company. Refrigeration was the focus there. I decided to go into the startup world roughly 2 years ago with another project of mine, which was called Plum, which was a wine dispenser, which we kind of successfully launched into the industry. But really, I left Plum to join Cooksy because I had a similar idea years ago. I started tinkering on own product ideas, and that's what I mainly do right now, in fact, and stay tuned on that. But I reached out to the folks of Cooksy because I just wanted to congratulate them on the great product solution that they've developed. It's a brand new category within cooking. And in my opinion, is leaps ahead of what the current innovation was within the kind of AI cooking space. I can tell you in a little bit deeper what Cooksy does, but I knew I wanted to be part of something that hopefully is going to be, world changing. If I think about the Jetsons kitchen of the future, Cooksy is certainly going to be part of that, and I wanted to be part of getting it into the industry, getting it into people's minds.
Yeah, and like you said, we'll dive into kind of what it does a little bit, but the backstory, very new product. If I'm right, KBIS this year in February, is that when it launched?
Yeah, in fact, that was a preferred launch venue. In fact, I went to a nationwide event right before that, where I started talking to people, and this is actually where I realized that the Cooksy needs to be part of this industry. Because this is where culinary lives. This is where appliance live, and we fit right in.
Yeah. Again, before we dive into the technology itself and what it does, what was that launch like, experiencing that? Obviously big stage of KBIS, but what was the coverage like after that, and what kind of press and things like that were said about it?
Yeah, it was really more than expected. We were pretty much nominated for every award that is at the KBIS. We were on the stages for design bites. We were chosen by a bunch of the design hounds as their favorite picks. It was truly amazing. The reception was great. We had a tiny but very interactive booth where we were able to cook for people, let people cook themselves, in fact, and just show them the technology. The reception was really exceptional at KBIS. I have launched many products and many brands into KBIS in the past years, but we had a lot of fun with Cooksy, and we were able to show to a lot of appliance dealers, which now I hope we can kind of through the nationwide platform get into touch with and get it into people's hands and make people's lives a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now let's talk about the product itself, because it is really cool. I've seen, obviously digging around your site and, kind of learning a little bit about it. Really cool product. And, if you're watching the video version of this, we'll throw some pictures and maybe I'll rip some of your YouTube videos and throw some videos over top as well. And you can watch there. If you're listening, be sure to check the description, and we'll have some content down in there. But, tell us about the product and the technology and really what it's all about, what Cooksy is.
Great, yeah. So basically, and for the viewers here, that they will be able to see is, it's a tiny little device. It's not as easy to explain as just showing this little box around over here, but it's a new category. And what it does is essentially you have a box that attaches to your hood magnetically or through a wall mount. And then that AI device has two cameras. It has a thermal camera and a camera. And then it watches your cooktop while you cook and gives you guided video instruction on your phone or on your tablet. So essentially, imagine Cooksy to be almost like a remote probe that is also a virtual chef that tells you what to do and when to do it. And to give you a very simple explanation, example, Cooksy watches, and then it will tell you on your cooktop, on your pan, okay, preheat pan to 220 degrees. Next, Cooksy will tell you, because it's looking at the pan, okay, now add butter, right? And then at a certain other heat point, now increase temperature to 250. Now add onions, right? Now move onions to the side, now add steak, now flip steaks. And because we set different heat pins all over the pan, we basically have the real temperature kind of reading on the pan, something that wasn't possible before. You only had a sense of what temperature means because of the little knobs. And you go from number 3 to number 4, number 5, or you turn the knob, but that's not heat. That's how fast it heats, right? And you can reach 500 degrees at stage 3 of the cooktop. It just takes longer, right? So basically overcooking, undercooking, all of those things are a thing of the past because we have a remote probe. And then very conveniently with video instructions, we tell you what to do. So on the screen, on your phone, you choose any of the hundreds of recipes. And then every time you're supposed to do something, it gives a little preview video that shows you what to do, and it tells you what to do it as well. And it also will tell you what to do next. So, hey, in 2 minutes, do something. So you have 2 minutes to do something else. So it's essentially a remote probe that gives you video instructions and teaches you how to cook. And essentially, my wife now doesn't want me, especially for steaks, and I have every gadget at home you can imagine, but especially for steaks, it really gives you the perfect result, right? It tells you exactly when to flip it, and it's always going to be perfect.
No, that's awesome. And it just to kind of clarify, it ties in through smartphone, so you're getting these notifications on your phone when you do things.
You have a live view on your phone. You see the live temperature. Even if you walk away, if you're deep frying something, let's say, you can be sitting somewhere else. You have a view on the pan and of the temperature. If it's too hot, it will tell you. If it's too low, it will tell you what temperature to put. And essentially, you do it from your phone or tablet. What I haven't mentioned is that on the Cooksy Pro, you can also record your own recipes, which is amazing. So essentially, you cook your favorite dish, and you record it, and you make it a video recipe that then you can share with your friends, family. If you're a mom or a dad and you like to cook, you record all of your favorite recipes, or let's say your kids' favorite recipes, and if they're off to university, they can have a Cooksy and they're going to recook it, and the food is just going to taste 100% the same because you're following the same steps as the person that recorded the recipe, the same heat signature, the same timing, absolutely everything. So it's completely bulletproof. It's like a GPS, I want to say, in the kitchen. So there's nothing you can do wrong. If you can flip, if you can stir, if you can add ingredients, you can cook any of our kind of master chef recipes or the ones that mom and dad recorded.
No, that's awesome. And the thing that kind of, you're always looking for that emotional connection to a product, right? And to hear you kind of talk about how you can have, hey, who's to say you can't have grandma over, can she cook a recipe and record that recipe, and then for years you could pass down that recipe. Now obviously we had cookbooks, but now you have Cooksy videos that you can share, so you can make sure it actually comes out exactly how she cooked it.
Exactly like grandma did it. And one more, you see the hand, you see the technique. So there is a reminder of that person for the years to come, right? So you're going to cook the exact same recipes. And I've recorded a bunch of my mom's recipes, and hopefully I will pass them down to my daughter when she's old enough to cook.
How cool is that's awesome. And those are the things that, like I said, you look for and try to find, and to make that connection is really cool for sure. But obviously that kind of story is something that a retailer can use to describe this type of product to a customer that might be interested. But what else would you say, for the retailer, maybe considering this product, what's the what's the pitch? How's the, they have a customer that might be interested. What can you tell them, advice would you give to help sell this product?
I have a beautiful example of a retailer that is part of the network. And she told me that when we sell those appliance packages, right, those luxury appliance packages or premium appliance packages, customers sometimes after they purchase is saying, wow, so now all I need is a chef. Do you sell those too? And in fact, now you can, because essentially Cooksy allows any customer that the appliance retailer may have to go home and get the best out of the appliances that they just bought. Cooksy attaches to any kind of hood or wall, so it works with any system, whether it's gas cooktop, whether it's induction or electric cooktop, and people will be able to cook. I mean, only because they buy an appliance package doesn't know they know how to use it. In fact, most people, again, because they never had the access to what temperature is, cooking in an expensive state is daunting, right? It's not something that you take lightly because you don't want to mess it up, or the perfect egg, or a more elaborate recipe. Now, Cooksy is a chef that you have at home. It tells you what to do and when to do it, and the results are always perfect. So in combination with the new kitchen packages, you get a chef that tells you, teaches you how to cook, allows you to interact with the community. And that also maybe is important for the appliance dealer that want to connect after they make the sale, by essentially recording their own recipes, right? If I would be an appliance dealer, I would create my own little recipe book and share it with my customers. And that way I can speak to them right after. They can cook my recipes. I can go and interact with them while they're at home. I can make it about kind of cooking events, inviting them, teaching them essentially how to cook at their own home with their own new appliances, which I think is a great benefit.
Yeah. So that you're kind of talking about, is there a social element to that? Obviously you mentioned being able to share videos, but what is there like an interface? What's the Cooksy interface like? And does it, you mentioned a retailer being able to share things. Is it meant to be sort of a social aspect, like the platform itself?
100%. The community is as important as the hardware. The hardware, in fact, is only the means to unlock the community, right? Because so an appliance dealer could, and we can help, by the way, record a bunch of recipes and speak to the customer and say, hey, because you will type down certain chef notes and instruction, preheat your Bosch or, Fisher Paykel cooktop to 220 degrees, or they can create a recipe library that they feel really strongly about, that maybe is regional, right? Maybe it's Southwestern cuisine, or maybe it's more barbecue heavy. And then basically upload it to a recipe book that can be private. They can call it Appliance Dealer XXS Recipe Library, or they can share it with the world, right? And then people are be able to just go home and cook whatever is in there. But I believe keeping it in a small community, keep on interacting with your consumers. This is where the value lies. Now, for the consumers, they can upload it. It allows you to share it on YouTube. It allows you to share it on Instagram. You can download your pre-recorded videos. If you have a TikTok account or whatever you're using in order to spread the word about your favorite recipes that only you know how to cook. There's many means of getting them up there. But I think creating the community around the appliance dealer and its customers, by the way, even for the past customers, right? Because it's a very small device, it's tiny. After the fact, they can go and send that newsletter to their database of customers and say, hey, now we sell virtual AI chefs, right? That actually kind of make your life better. So you can communicate with the customers of the past that are not going to come in and buy a new refrigerator every month, right? But that way you have something to talk with them.
No, how awesome is that? And to your point, we know that appliance appliance customers aren't coming in so it's years between appearances in a store possibly. So what better way to be able to continue to connect with them and build that relationship in between those times. But you mentioned at the top you were familiar with Nationwide and you were excited to bring this product and connect with this community again. What is it that excites you about working with why this channel, and why a Nationwide dealer? What is it about this channel that, you think they'll be set up to have success with something like Cooksy?
I think that Nationwide kind of appliance dealers that are part of the network, they really care. They wouldn't join Nationwide otherwise, right? So they want the benefits of the benefits that you offer to them, which is a strong kind of marketing support and helping them to be better at what they do. And I believe that select group, though your group gotten really, really big at this point, which is amazing. But those other appliance dealers that care and that matter in the industry, you have the brands that care about culinary exploration. Most of your, or if not all of your appliance dealer brands, some of the best in their categories. So just joining the elite group of vendors that have the best of the customer in mind, the best for the customer in mind, just excites me a lot. And I think that the culinary focus within the group is what's really stands apart from appliance dealers that work through other means. So and I believe we fit right in there.
No, that's awesome to hear, and it certainly does. It's a great sort of I don't want to like limit the word that I'm using, but like an add-on to just kind of boost the experience that you have with these products that are that they mean a lot. They're impactful within the home. So to be able to elevate that experience and have something like this where so you're already going to enjoy using these appliances, but then to be able to see yourself recording these recipes and things like that, it takes it to a whole nother level.
It's a game changer. So I joined it because I had this big aha moment myself. I asked for a sample to kind of try it out, and it's a game changer. It's a behavioral change that happens instantly. I don't cook without the Cooksy. It doesn't mean I only follow recipes, but I use it in order to keep tabs of the temperature in the pan. And I tell you something, pans are almost more important than the cooking surface below. The heat distribution happens in the pan. And the first thing I've done is I tested all my pans with a Cooksy, because it tells you exactly where you have heat pockets. There's some pans that I had that had up to 100 degrees difference between one side of the pan or the other, or the middle and the rings. If you slap a steak on that, the sides are going to be not cooked and only the center, and vice versa. Or if you do eggs, so those heat pockets within the pan, they were an eye opener for me. So I basically gifted my other pans to people that I that I care about, but not enough to give them my really good pans. And so for me, it's an orientation point that I didn't have before. I was a product manager in the cooking space, and this is new technology. This is brand new category that nobody knew they need, but once you start using it, you won't cook without. So the Cooksy became the more essential part of my kitchen, other than the refrigerator, which obviously you use every day. But I would not cook, not even like a nice scrambled egg without the Cooksy, because I want that nice kind of fluffy, gooey texture. And you only have that if you hold it at 100% steady temperature over a longer cook versus preheating your pan really hot, throwing in your eggs, the bottom burns, and you're not going to get the same result. But if you follow the instructions, it's going to be a great result. Kind
of backed yourself into a killer cooking app with for you guys, and did it in a way that I think is really cool. And we're excited to kind of see how our retailers are able to leverage it in their stores and with their customers, and the community aspect too, I think is awesome. So it'll be, fun to follow and, see how they take advantage of that and how you guys are working with them as well. Cause that's always,
I'm very, very excited. We did some outreach. We were mostly focused right now on the development of our new product, which we're launching next month. You won't be able to see it if you're listening to the podcast, but so this is the Cooksy, magnetic top. And so this is the Cooksy Mini. Ooh. 40% smaller. And this really fits. So this is a $6.99 price point that allows you to record your videos. The Cooksy Mini doesn't allow you to record, but it allows you to follow all the recipes. And it's small, it's non-intrusive, it really fits in any kitchen. And it's your virtual sous chef. You still get access to absolutely all our hundreds of recipes, all the support and so forth. The only thing you cannot do is record your own video. So we have those two products, and this is what we are about to launch.
Well, hey, a nice plug. If you can't see it and you want to see it, either go watch the video or you can join us in Orlando. You'll be down there, I imagine, at prime time here in a couple of weeks, and you can see it there for sure. So we're excited to have you down there, Andreas, and
thank you so much, Rob.
Look forward to getting hands on with the product and all that good stuff. You got a mini product launch and anything, without giving away company secrets and having me, having to send someone up here to shut my mouth before I say something I shouldn't. What's kind of what's the future for Cooksy? Where do you guys kind of see it going? And what's sort of in your mind of where it could be?
My wishful thinking is, and as I mentioned before, that this becomes like the microwave, that this becomes an integral part into anybody's kitchen, right? It's other than a cookbook or a recipe kind of, when you Google a recipe where you have to go through a million different ads and the backstory of things. This is something that just tells you what to do and when to do it. And I believe this is good for anybody who likes good food. So my wishful thinking is that this becomes a new thing, that this is part of every kitchen, of every luxury kitchen, of every package, right? Because it's a very easy add-on to any of your members to simply add to the package and add a lot of joy to their customers. So my wishful thinking is to get this into absolutely everybody's hands down the road. When people ask, do you have a microwave? Do you have a Cooksy? And people will just understand what the other person is talking about. So we are just in the beginning of the journey, but I believe together with Nationwide, we can do it.
Oh, that's awesome. And certainly a story we'll continue to follow, because I think the product itself is awesome. And hey, maybe when I get down there in Orlando, I may bring a couple bones and you might have yourself a new customer. So it's a cool product. I'm excited to be able to see it hands-on and what you guys do with it. So appreciate the time and look forward to connecting down there in Orlando and, continuing to follow your story.
Thank you so much, Rob, and talk to you soon and see you soon.
Awesome. And like I said, thanks again to, Andreas. He can explain it a whole lot more eloquently and better than I can. But, neat to see such a unique product launch and get such, great rave reviews, really, and a lot of press, since their official launch back at KBIS, but we're excited to see them take, hold here in the independent channel and be available to our members for Nationwide to bring into their stores. And, an interesting attachment, one that, maybe becomes, like he says, part of the ultimate kitchen package down the line here. But excited to have them and learn more about them. And of course, again, to see them at primetime in Orlando in just a few short weeks. So again, thanks to Andreas. And as always, appreciate you listening to the Independent Thinking Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.